Now, these days, what is happening is a lot of people have moved ahead in the coffee tasting game. A lot of people are just catching up, and it becomes confusing for many of us to understand how to describe a coffee confidently. This video is not basically made to show how beautiful you can describe, but how functionally you can describe the coffee. Tasting the coffee is all about describing your experience. It is about explaining your experience. So there's a massive difference between putting a label to the sip that you're having or a bite that you're having versus describing that sip or describing that bite. There's a huge difference. The moment you understand that difference and move towards describing the experience, it's gonna make you a better coffee taster. For example, again, I'll tell you a thing. The best thing, if I give you a carrot, 100% sure you won't be able to describe it because you like carrot, but you got to describe that without saying it is a carrot. So try that exercise, that when you're having a cucumber, eat it and describe it without calling it a cucumber. So that is how you basically get better in that. It's similarly in coffee. Once you have a sip, you can't say it's coffee. It is coffee, established, but you'll start describing it much better. The most difficult, I think, is if I give you sugar without calling it sugar and sweet, how would you describe it? So you're describing the experience, you're not describing just the taste. So we don't want to describe the taste, at least initially and consciously going forward, but we want to describe the experience that's going around. That will make you a better taster. You can take wheat for that example. Just pop in some wheat. All right, pop in all these different things and stop calling it what it is and start describing it, like grainy. Okay, this is powdery, or this is mushy, makes your mouth sweat. So this way you can do the entire thing. At least I believe experience cannot be forgotten. All right, so you will remember those experiences if you do it consistently. So that's what you want to do and get better at tasting. Because see, flavor wheel came later on. Humans have been tasting like since forever. So you cannot have flavor wheel as your benchmark or your thumb rule. There is no thumb rule, as I said. Jasmine, almonds, butter chicken. This is blueberry. So this is not how it works, all right? You're not eating fruits. Even if it's a fruit fermentation coffee, you're not eating fruits. The point is not to put in the words, not to put in the fruits or flowers or all these things that you are experiencing. Just describe it. Nobody's restricted, nobody's told you to describe in like just one word. I've seen at so many cupping sessions that one sip, Jasmine, just describe better, man. Like, would you be able to find the same Jasmine if I keep the same cup in like 100 coffees? I really doubt. I mean, that particular category of people. I would say, like, just try to describe, take a second more. Try to describe it like, okay, it's softer note, it's got a soft note. What am I experiencing? The mouthfeel is soft. It's drying up my palate like a green apple. It's soft and it's finishing up shorter. So short finish, soft. So describe all these things. Think through. Let that connection between your sip, mind, and then words be really, really strong. So you have a sip of coffee and then see what is happening in the mouthfeel. See what flavors you're getting, what kind of experience you're getting. The experience, you could relate it with not just the flavor wheel, but with numbers, with shapes, with colors, with your memories, what it reminds you of. All these powerful memories or powerful mental images or mental graphs. Then you can fixate a kind of word towards it. It could be like, this reminds me of my childhood where I grew up. In that locality, there was somebody who used to cook. So whatever, those things you can start relating towards it. That's the first and the most important critical step. Because even now, after like 6 years of tasting coffee, I try to just not put those Jasmine blah 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 notes, and rather focus on what is the memory of the experience, what is the experience of the coffee, rather where it takes me back to, what are the numbers that come to my mind, what are the shapes that come to my mind, what are the colors, that is how you keep yourself in a check, I would say, rather than shooting out your words. So systematic way of tasting the coffee is pretty simple. You have a sip, you just feel what kind of flavors, how heavy the body is, how light the body is, how fast your tongue is moving around, how much your glands are sweating. Just describe those one step at a time. So probably you can take one sip, you can just focus on the flavor and describe it and not nail it, quote unquote nail it, alright? You can just describe that experience. Have a second sip or a slurp if you're cupping, and describe the acidity of it, like gradually. And I'm saying describe, I'm not saying name the acidity, describe the acidity. Like this coffee is going towards more, what do you say, sharpness of side of things, sharpness like aloo bukhara. So there's a fruit which we call aloo bukhara. Put down in the comment sections please what exactly aloo bukhara is in English. But so that way you start describing what kind of body is it. Is it a body which basically if you have 1 spoon of oil it'll make you feel like that, or 1 spoon of honey it'll make you feel like that. And then describe the body to be like heavy, extremely heavy, or as heavy as like whatever. So describe it as much as possible. Don't restrict yourself to the cupping sheet space. If you're learning coffee, if you're getting into coffee, describe the coffee as much as you want to, and keep practicing that coffee over and over again. Do blind tasting of the same coffee and see if you're able to describe that much better. Yeah, so don't try to imagine flavors because if don't try to imagine flavors, don't try to be too innovative about describing it with some different adjective altogether. Because if you might come over to a cupping session that I'll conduct, I'll probably on purpose keep 2 cups on the table which are similar but kept aside, and I'll just try to check if you guys are really knowing what you're talking about, because you may describe this coffee really beautifully and when you go to that cup you may not be able to describe at all. That is the art, that is a skill. When you've got 10 coffees and you've got 10 coffees on the table which you don't know anything about, and you've got 2 coffees which are similar and you don't know where they are, how well do you describe? That will make you understand, that will make you the person who knows coffee tasting. Because or else it's just faffing around. There's a lot of faffing around going in the industry. It's very new, it's great, it's just that we should not be flying too fast and forgetting too much. That's something which is very important. Stick to the basics, get better at them, we'll keep going in the right direction. That's amazing where we are going then. Yes.